We are in Italy at the home of Lamborghini, and that means there is a new car to take a look at. We're in Centro Stile, the design department, and lurking right here is something we have all been waiting to see. This is the new Lamborghini Revuelto SV. The SV is back, and there's a lot to touch on, from the design, the increased power, all the new features, what's gone into it. Hi guys, I'm Shmi, hello and welcome back to the channel. Let's talk about the new Lamborghini Revuelto SV. We'll start with an introduction, go around the car quickly, give you all the things that you need to know about the new SV. Then we're going to go through it in more detail. Design, engine, facts and figures, the interior. There are new seats, there's new aero. There's a lot to this. To begin, I guess with a bit of history, go back to 1971, the Mura SV. The first time the SV badge was worn, a more focused, lightweight, more extreme version, SV for Super Veloce. Then after that, you also had Diablo, Murcielago, Aventador, no Countach SV. The Aventador SV, though, is to me the collector's car of the Revuelto's predecessor. Now, I was in this very room about 3 years ago to see Revuelto itself for the first time. Lamborghini's hybridized V12 flagship supercar. This takes things even further. Power is up to 1,065 horsepower and 1,425 Newton meters from that 6.5 litre naturally aspirated V12 combined with a trio of electric motors. So you have two at the front, one on the rear, but there's an enlarged battery pack, about double the size, which means it can deliver even more power. That extra 50 horsepower actually comes fully from the electric system as opposed to the combustion engine. If we talk design, there's more aero. You can see there's a revised fascia at the front, an extended splitter, more of this X-style design that really emphasizes where the car sits. Painted here in the optional livery with the black central section that runs over the top and the red detailing and pinstripes that go around. More features, we've got a new center lock wheel, specific wheel for the car. We've also got passive dampers, so you can manually adjust the suspension system. On top of that, you've got the CCMR Plus brakes, even lighter, even more braking power, probably very expensive, but they will really stop this thing fast. If we open the doors, which of course, Lamborghini doors opening upwards, we've got a new carbon fiber shell bucket seat, we've got new menus and controls, but we'll get to more of those in just a moment to talk you through it. A new display as well when it's turning on and waking up the dashboard. I think in terms of the car at a nutshell, biggest thing, probably the wing standing proud at the rear. It's a fixed wing, in fact, kind of a double layer wing, one over the top of the other. You're gonna have a lot of sound coming out of the exhaust system from the V12 back here. But let's go through things in more detail. Look at that side profile, the speed shape that it has, the single line that runs over the top, that wedge that's so familiar from Lamborghini's design. And as I said, it was in this very room 3 years ago that the covers were pulled back from the base Revuelto to see the long-awaited follow-up to Aventador. This takes it even further, but I think to understand some of the design elements that we have here, we need to talk a little bit about the base car, which is built around a carbon mono fuselage, a carbon fiber monocoque, effectively a cage over the whole of the car with some carbon fiber crash structure as well, keeping it very strong, very secure, but also bringing everything together with a big V12 back there and all of the electric motors and different systems. If we come round towards the front though, look at the design of this. And of course this is with the optional livery package from Ad Personam, having that black painted section. You could have it without, you could have just the lower sections. You can opt to have these red pinstripes or go without or have them in any different color that you can think about. But starting from the very nose, it's that X shape that you see so distinctly. It's very aggressive in the way that it's styled. This flanks above and below the Ypsilon headlight structure. That was introduced and you see those shapes and styles throughout the design of it. Lower down, you have the extended front splitter, these red details that are added to emphasize and make it look even sportier in the process. And even these blades are carbon as well. So you've got the exposed carbon, lots of carbon fiber panels found throughout the car. Then carry on, it has this painted livery design that goes up over the A-pillars towards the engine bay. Around the side, not too much has changed here from base, as I'm going to call it, Revuelto. Obviously lots of cooling coming through towards that engine that's housed right back over here, where you have the most incredible view. We will talk more about it in a moment, but it's a thing to behold. Come to the rear, and this is where you have the double stacked fixed rear wing. So look at the upper wing initially. You've got the openings here to keep the car stable at high speed, but working in harmony with the opening that you have through the wing just here above the exhaust tailpipes to keep stability when you are driving down a long straight or perhaps on the German Autobahn. At the rear, these blades of the diffuser are also painted with the pinstriping details, so it just gives an even more enhanced look. And when you're standing right behind it, just take in how that thing looks right now. Interestingly, when you tie all of that together, this has 80% more downforce than the standard Revuelto and 10% more downforce even than the Aventador SVJ, which was truly built for out-and-out track performance. With all of that though, comes the engine. And one of the interesting things about the engine is that you'll notice the manifold is black. Previously on the SVs, it's been bronze. They kept it like this because the combustion engine itself makes the same power that it does in the regular car. 825 horsepower. So in Fenomeno, the few off-series car, it makes 835 from the 6.5 V12, but they kept it at that and improved the power of the electric system. So what you have are two axial flux motors at the front, for the front axles, obviously to help with your e-drive. You have the radial flux motor that then sits above the transversely mounted gearbox at the back to give even more power. Put those together with the battery pack, which sits right within the frame of the car, which used to be a 3.7 kilowatt hour pack and is now a 7.3 kilowatt hour, so effectively doubled. You get 190 kilowatts from that alone, giving you an effective power output of the car in total of 1,065 horsepower, which makes this the most powerful production Lamborghini model. 1,065. Torque goes up from 1425 newton meters, from 1415 to 1425 newton meters. All in all, with your all-wheel drive system, the clever gearbox, you can do 0 to 100 kilometers an hour, 62 miles an hour in 2.4 seconds, 0 to 200 kilometers an hour, 124 miles per hour in just 6.7 seconds, and onto a top speed in excess of 345 kilometers an hour, 214 miles per hour. I mentioned about the Ypsilons, the Y shapes, but you also see hexagons everywhere. And this has been Lamborghini's design DNA and style, even down to the filler cap here and the way that that has the Y shape coming through it. But a very interesting thing when it comes to SV and the logos, if you think back, the Diablo SV had this enormous SV logo all over the side of it. For the Murcielago SV, you could choose if you had a smaller one or a larger one. For this as well, you can have the painted SV logo like this, sitting neatly sandwiched between the wheel arch and this upper body line, or you can use the shape of the car here and have an optional livery pack that uses that as the S and then puts a big V over the back of the car as well. Now you might be thinking what happens on the other side, and yes, that would look reversed. However, when you then drive the car past a window or a reflective wall, you'll see it correctly, which would actually be quite fun from inside. And it plays with this body line, which obviously is more about the cooling, it's about the airflow with all of these different openings leading to different places, and even the aggression of the side skirt down here as well. So it's that secondary purpose, but obviously with ad personam, you could have a paint fade, front to back, up and down, you could have different liveries, you can change all of the colors and the details, but the fact that they've tied all this together gives so much freedom for customers to be able to choose exactly what they would like with it. It remains to be seen though, which options will turn out to be the most popular and chosen by the most when it comes to customer cars being delivered. We need to talk a little bit more about the wheels and the dynamics. So this is the new 3D Superlight Dromos wheel. Take a closer look at the design and the way they have been crafted. You've got a new center lock as well that Lamborghini have made for this, and you can finish that center lock component in the exact same color as the calipers as well. So a nice touch with that. It's a 20-inch wheel at the front and a 21-inch wheel at the rear. Behind that, we then have the CCMR Plus brakes. Now this is very much motorsports technology. We've got 420mm discs at the front. There are 410mm discs at the rear. There is 12% increased brake cooling with the ducting coming through to it. But combine all of this with the new manually adjustable passive suspension system, which is derived from the Temerario GT3 race car, and you have an increase of 17% in agility mobility terms, 10% in lateral grip, and on top of that, with these brakes, you get 11% increased peak deceleration and 23% increased heat dissipation from them as well. So when you're talking about the unsprung mass and you're talking about the components here that go into your driving experience, this is absolutely top notch. There's also a brand new tyre. It's the Potenza Race R that has been launched with this car. So a brand new semi-slick tyre, of course region depending. Some, like in the Middle East, you have to have a run flat if there's no space for a spare within the vehicle, but this is very much a semi-slick that has been made for ultimate performance, but you can of course choose to have it with the earlier sport tyre if it's going to be more of a road use that the car is going to be seeing. But ultimately, as I said, that is very much about driving dynamics and performance. On top of that is the integrated brake control. That's an inertia sensor that's monitoring in real time everything that's going on, so the car is completely aware of all of its movements. The Fenomeno introduced a very clever system for all of this, and there's a 6D sensor in Revuelto SV that brings all of these things together to ultimately mean you have a car that's even better to drive, that knows every single thing that's happening to it. And you combine that with the Pilota driving mode that's been introduced with this, where you can then configure even more and set it up even more purposefully, and you have something that is very, very clever. So much so, in fact, that Marco Mappelli, one of the test drivers and factory drivers for Lamborghini, did a lap time with this at the Hockenheim ring of just 1 minute 41.6 seconds, which is basically only behind the likes of an AMG 1 or a McLaren Senna. Very limited run, very, very expensive cars in very short supply for their time that they were introduced. I think this really connects to what is SV, Super Veloce. It's a more dialed up version of the car, but it's not the extreme SVJ, the Super Veloce Yota, the fully wild, bonkers, absolutely to the max, which is something that might fit into a future product line eventually in due course. But for the first iteration of Revuelto, like with Aventador, SV is the car in my mind. It's the one that really stands out without being too extreme or too much, but bringing all of this clever tech to ultimately give you a very race-focused feel in a road car. And if you're wondering about the colors on this specific car, this slightly blue metallic silver is Azzurro Thetis. We then have Nero Noctis, the straight black used for the contrast, and then the Rosso red trim details that you find all around it. Moving inside, and I am lucky to be very familiar with driving the Lamborghini Revuelto, having driven it out on track when it was originally introduced, and having had one at my own garage to take for a drive out on the roads as well. But what is different about this? Well, before we even get in, the door card, this new carbon fiber skin that you have throughout. Of course, this is lighter, also gives you even more of a racetrack sensation by seeing all of the carbon around you. You then have a brand new seat as well, this full carbon shell seat. You have to excuse that it is quite dark here, but the seat is a single piece, so a fixed position, but an all new seat, and again finished with different leathers, stitching, embroideries, all that you can customize either at the standard level or going even further with ad personam. But these seats an upgrade from the standard seat that would come with the car. I'm going to step into them, first time sitting in those seats, to be able to see what they actually feel like. In here you'll see we've got a new dashboard, obviously showing us the SV on the display. Well, there are a trio of displays. We've seen lots of these also with Temerario as well. They offer lots of different functionality and elements that you can control. And of course the steering wheel that launched with Revuelto that has all of your different driving modes, your lift system, and the new Pilota button. So one press of this would take you to the Pilota setting, and then you can rotate and go through even more sub modes within that. You can see we've got some electric charge on this particular car because there is now even more electric range thanks to the increased battery that runs up through the car, and you still have the storage space available behind. There's also an optional fire extinguisher back there, and a pretty incredible view through to the engine bay that sits right back there. The open feeling of it, inspired by some of the W16 engines in the Bugatti portfolio, but really a talking point and looking amazing, especially when you're on the brake lights later on. To look around, you can see that full carbon door card. Over on the passenger side, you've got the tiles and widgets that you can flick over from here, either to the dashboard or to the passenger screen, depending what information you'd like to have, especially when you're out on the racetrack. And you've got the carbon fiber shift paddles for the dual clutch gearbox that sit right behind. We've got the storage cubby down here, some USB-C ports, your controls. Of course, you lift this up to start the car. You've got then the selectors here for reverse, park, manual, and an arm pad, but no storage or compartments there, just a few switch gear items, which obviously are always nice to just see and take in. I note also that there is a telemetry camera here and one just up top, so you can record your track action and present it through their track telemetry system as well for all of that data and everything else. This seat that I am sitting in is incredibly rigid. I am not going to lie, it is a very solid seat and very straight in its back, so probably not the best for long road trips or those kinds of drives, but there is another option as well. If I bring you right over here, this is the new, or the current seat that is available in the SV, but with a specific trim for this car, so with the piping and the SV embroidery, but the Sports Plus seat that launched with Hurricane Evo and STO a number of years back, but would be the go-to seat, and probably, if you're going to do road driving, would be the option to go for. But this ultimately is a car that is designed to be at home on the track. You've possibly noticed this phrase in the background, the quantum of driving. That's the ethos behind this car, bringing together the fun of driving with maintaining a V12, something that we all know is increasingly difficult in today's market with regulation, with homologation. But if you've ever heard a Revuelto, believe me, it sounds amazing. And they've done it even better here again with the V12. The name Revuelto itself, like other Lamborghini models, is named after a Spanish fighting bull. One question you might be wondering is how many of these are there going to be? 1963. The year that Lamborghini was founded, 1,963 cars. And I always love that little nod. So this is it, Revuelto SV, the latest in that lineage, from the Miura through Diablo through Murcielago. The Murci SV was in the first ever video that I shot on my channel, a car that's always felt very close to me. The Aventador SV has been hugely popular over the years from the minute it landed. A revised Aventador with more aero, with a fixed wing, but not as crazy and brutal and out there as the SVJ, and that's what they've gone for with this, mixing that fun to drive, mixing that characteristic for a more focused, more aggressive, more motorsport oriented car, but also keeping it, I'm going to say cleaner, but obviously by a decade ago's standards, it's still pretty wild. It's still pretty Lamborghini, but isn't that what it's supposed to be? So if you've liked this video, check out the one right over there. That's it for this time. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Cheers.